Hi all, welcome to this interesting session on JavaScript. Hope you have covered the basics of HTML and CSS. In this video, I'm going to cover the basics of JavaScript. So let's get started. First of all, we need to know what JS really is. JS is one of the most popular and widely used programming languages in the world right now. Many big companies build their entire application using it. So, what can you really do with it? As front-end developers, we must know that JS is used to make the web pages interactive and lively. If HTML defines the basic structure of a website, CSS makes it look attractive, then JS is something that gives life or motion to it. Take a look at this website. See this design, which shows and hides the content on clicking the button. Any idea how it is made? Of course, using JavaScript. Also, this bottom to top button. As you can see, this is the desktop view of the site and this would be the mobile view. You can notice that once the screen size reduces, all the menu items disappear and another icon comes in its place. How does this happen? Again JavaScript. So these are all created using JS. The next thing we must know is where the JS code is to be placed in our project. There are two ways of doing it. The first method is to write down JS code inside the script tag. Let's see an example. Here, I'm adding a script tag at the end of the body. So this is a simple JS code. You need not look into the code right now. This is the first method. You can place scripts in the head section also. See like this. This method is also perfectly fine. But the best practice is to place scripts at the bottom of body tag so that it improves display speed. Also, an HTML file can contain any number of scripts which can be placed in body, in head, or both. The second way is to use an external JS file with extension .js. Let's create it's a script.js. First of all, let's create a folder JS and our JS file inside it. Now let's copy this code. The JS file must not contain any script tags, only the code must be written there. Now give the path of the JS file here in the script tag using src attribute. src stands for so path is js bar script.js. You can get the path of any file by right clicking on it and selecting copy relative path. So this method of using external JS file is suggested when the same JS code is to be used in many different web pages or many different HTML files. Also, it becomes easier to read and maintain if we follow this practice. There is an attribute called type with value text bar JavaScript that says scripting language is JS, but it's not required as default scripting language in HTML is JS itself. So that's all about it. Now let's move on to our next topic, variables. So to begin with, first create an HTML document and so we need only the JS part. So we are writing script here. Inside the script tag, we will write all our JS code to study the basics of JS. So I'm writing here console.log hello. And we can see the output by right clicking on index.html file, open with live server. Open the live server, right click on it, inspect, console. Here you can see the output. Here give hello world, then you can see the output here on the console. This is how you will be viewing the output. You can also write document.write and give something inside it. Hello. That will be printed here. You might have learned programming languages like C, C++, etc. And you know there are something called compilers which execute the code and gives you the output. So in the case of JavaScript that is used in the HTML document, we know that document is run in the browser. So in browser, there is a JavaScript engine. So in Google Chrome browsers, there is a JavaScript engine called V8 engine. It is used to take all the JavaScript comments and execute it and produce the desired output. So in browser, we have an option called console. When we right click and open inspect, we can get this console. So in this console also we can code JavaScript here. We can create variables here. Let x equal to 10 and we can see type of x. All this we can do here in the console itself. So here the JavaScript engine that the browser has is executing all this code. What are variables? It is a fundamental concept of any programming language. Variables are names given to memory locations. I hope you know what it means. For those who do not know, during programming there would be a need to store data temporarily and also access them in the future. For this purpose, we use memory locations to store them and retrieve them. There are a lot of locations like this. So if we store some data and need to access a particular data later, we need some reference, right? That's why names are given to memory locations. We store data in the memory location using the memory location's name, that is the variable name, and retrieve it later using the same variable name. Here I have used a demo HTML file to show some examples. In order to store data, we have to declare the variable first. In JS, declaration of variable is done using let keyword. So let me show you an example. Here I am adding my script tag let name. Here name is our variable. Console.log name. I'll show you what console is. Go to your browser, click inspect and open console. So console is where we can view results of our code, where we can run JS statements. Basically it's used for debugging during website development, that is to detect and correct errors to see if something is working fine or not. So we have written console.log name in our editor and we can see the result undefined here. So it means the value of variable name is undefined. Why is it undefined? Because we haven't given any value to it. In JavaScript, if we are not giving any value to our variable, its value becomes undefined by default. So let's try giving some value to it. We can assign the value either this way or like this. So we can see that now the value of name changes to John. There are certain rules for naming variables. The first rule is variable name cannot be a keyword. Keywords are reserved words with special purpose which cannot be used as variable names, function names, etc. Some examples are if, else, etc. Here is a list of keywords given in the site w3schools.com. You can just check it out there. So the second rule is always try to use meaningful names for variables. Because when we try to look the code later, we must understand the purpose of that variable. So if we are using variable names like x, y, z, etc., it would be difficult to understand later. So always try to use meaningful names. Third rule is variable names cannot start with a number, and fourth is it cannot contain white spaces and hyphens. Fifth is it is case sensitive. That is, variable names. These two will be treated as two different variables. Our next topic is constants. So let I equal to 3.14 console.log pi. Suppose I want to change this value. Let me change it to 3.16. It's perfectly fine. There are certain situations we don't want value of a variable to change. In those situations, instead of variable, we use constants. As the name implies, value of variable can change, but that of a constant cannot change. In JS, constants are declared using const keyword. Let's change it here. Now we can see an error. Why is it so? Because we tried to change the value of a constant. So let's remove this statement. Now the error goes away. Our next topic is operators. So an operator is a symbol that performs operations like arithmetic, logical, etc. on one or more values or operands to produce a result. So let's see the different types of operators used in JavaScript. First one is the arithmetic operators, which is used to perform most common mathematical operations like addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, etc. Here we can see a list of basic operators: addition denoted using plus, subtraction using minus, multiplication using asterisk, division using forward slash, modulus or remainder using percentage symbol, which gives the remainder on dividing 20 by 5, exponent using double asterisk. You can see the results on the right hand side in the console. Just go through it. Post and pre-increment and decrement. So increment means increasing the value and decrement means decreasing the value, right? So let a equal to 5 and I'm printing console.log a plus plus. So what do you think will be printed? So plus plus means adding the value by 1. So if the number is 5, it will be added by 1 and it will become 6. So if I give a plus plus, which is called post increment. So plus operator is after the variable. So it's called post increment. So what will be printed? See, 5 is printed. So what happens here is, first we see the variable, right? So it prints the variable with the value it had earlier, and only after printing it, it will get incremented by 1. And let's try to print it now. See, after printing a, it got incremented by 1 and became 6. Let's print a, it should be 6 now, right? See, it's 6. So what if we do pre-increment plus plus a? So if we are doing plus plus a, the operator is taken first. So the operation happens first. Increment happens. 5 becomes 6. So a will become 6. Only then the variable is reached. So only then a is printed. See, the value of plus plus a is 6. So it's the same in decrement also. If minus minus a is given, 5 becomes 4 first and then the value of a is printed. So a will be 4. See, a is 4. But in the case of a minus minus, 5 itself will be printed first, only then 5 will be decreased to 4. See, 5 itself is printed. So after printing this, 5 is decreased to 4 here. Now let's try to print 5. Okay, so it's decreased to 4 and in the next statements it gets the value 4. Okay, so that's all about post and pre-increment and decrement. So assignment operators. The first assignment operator is equal to itself. Here we are assigning a value. We are giving a value 5 to a. if we are creating a variable b and giving b equal to a, then what will be the value of b? B will get the value of a itself. Let's see what the value of b is. See, b will get the value 5 itself. So this is assigning value to a variable. We can directly give the value, give the number, or like it will be string. We can give it directly, we are assigning it, or else we can give another variable's name. So the value of that variable, here we are giving b equal to a. So value of a, value of this variable a, what is it? It's high. So b gets the value high. So console.log b prints high. Next is a type of assignment operator. Let a equal to 5 and let b equal to 6. Let me give a equal to a plus b. So what happens? A gets the value 5 plus 6, which is 11. And in the next step, when a is printed, it will be 11, right? Yes, it's 11. Instead of a equal to a plus b, there is another assignment operator which we can use, which is called a plus equal to b. So a plus equal to b has the same meaning of a equal to a plus b. So here a gets the value 11 after execution of the statement. So let's see the same result we get. We can also use a minus equal to b, which means a equal to a minus b. Let's make this 11 minus 6 is 5. Okay, we can also use multiplication also, and division also modulus and exponent, everything you can try it out. So comparison operator, as its name says, it used for comparing two values of variables. So here a equal to 10 and b equal to 10. Let's try comparing. If we give first comparison operator is equal to, which checks for equality. If a and b are equal, it returns true. If a and b are not equal, it will return false. So when we try to log it into the console, it will return true as a and b are equal. Let's change the values and try. Here it returned false. So next comparison operator is not equal to. When the values are not equal, it will return true. Here the values are not equal, so it should return true. When the values are equal, it will return false. See. Next, greater than. If a is greater than b, it will return true. Let's make it greater. Okay. So it returns true. If a is not greater than b, it will return false. We can also check like this, 6 greater than 3, and see the output. See, we can also check give the values directly, or we can give as variables. And next is greater than or equal to. So when we give 10, a 10, b 10, and check, it's false because a and b are equal. But in the case of greater than or equal to, even if they are equal, it will return true. It returns true whenever a greater than or equal to b. That is when a greater than b, it returns true. And if a equal to b also, it returns true. But when a is less than b, it returns false. See, it returns false. When a is greater than b, it returns true. Okay, when a is equal to b, it returns true. Okay, so in less than operator, true if a is less than b. Here a is not less than b, they are equal. Here a is less than b, return true. Here a is not less than b, return false. We can also use less than or equal to. It return false as a is greater than b. Let's make them equal. See, as they are equal, a less than equal to b gave true. It also gives true if a is less than b. Okay, so in the case of a less than or equal to b, it returns true if a equal to b, or it returns true if a is less than b also. Otherwise, it will return false. In JavaScript there is triple equal to. Let A and B be equal, then double equal to will return true, right? But what if we make it a string? A string and compare. It will return true only. But when we give triple equal to, it will return false, because triple equal to check for data types also. The data types also should be equal. If one is a number, another should also be a number. If one is a string, other should be also be a string. Here one is a number and one is a string. Data types are not equal, but values are equal. So as data types are not equal, it returns false. It wants the data type also to be equal. See, but double equal to does not require data type to be equal. One can be string, another can be a number also. So logical operators. The first logical operator is AND, double AND, which means AND. Okay, so let A equal to B, A equal to 10, let B equal to 10, let C equal to 30, and D equal to 40. Okay, so here we give, in the case of logical operators, in the case of AND logical operator, we give two comparisons. Okay, we are comparing A equal to B, and we between a bracket to make it look better. A equal to B and C less than D. See if it's true or not. Here A equal to B. This is true, right? C less than D. This is also true. So let's see what it returns. So AND logical operator returns true if only both the statements are true. If only both of them are true, it returns true. See, true. Let us make one of them false, but this one is still true. So one is true and one is false. In that case, AND will return false. So AND need both of them to be true. If one is true and another one is false, it will return false. And if both are false also, it will return false. Okay, but in the case of OR, this is OR operator. Okay, change it to OR operator. In the case of OR, it returns true if at least one is true. At least one is enough. At least one true is enough. So here this is true and this is false, right? So here at least one is true. So it will return true. If both are true also, then also if both are true, then also it will return true. Here C less than D, right? So this is true, this is true. If both are true also, it will return true. But if both are false, let's write A not equal to B, or write A greater than B. Okay, A is not greater than B, right? And we can write C greater than D. C is also not greater than D. Both are false. So what will all return? All will return false. Next is NOT operator. NOT only requires a single expression. A equal to B return. A equal to B will return true, right? But what if we give NOT in front of it? So it displays just the opposite, false. So it makes everything, it inverses everything. If it's true, it makes it false. If it's false, it makes it true. There is an operator called typeof to check the data type of a variable. Let me create a variable A. Let A equal to 10.3. Then console.log type of A. So type of A should be number, right? Let's see. its number. Okay, so we can check the type of, if A is a string, type of A will return string, and if A is boolean, it will return boolean. Okay, so type of can also be written like this, type of bracket A. That will also work. And we can also write type of, we can give the string directly here. We can give a string directly, it will return string. We can give the number directly. Okay, we can give it like this also. Okay, so that's about type of operator. Let A equal to 5 and let B equal to 10. Console.log A plus B. So A plus B, what does it return? It adds the two numbers, right? 5 plus 10 and returns 15. But what if they are strings? Let me create string good and B morning, and add the both strings. See, it returns good morning. So when we use plus operator on strings, what it does is it concatenates. It is called concatenation of strings, adding two strings. It adds the two strings and make them one. We can give a space here if we want, so there will be a space here also. We can also write like this, welcome plus next string to she bootcamp. See, but we can give a space here, after welcome and after to. Okay, so also give let str. I'm creating a string good, and here I'm adding str plus another string. Okay, so str, what is str? Str is a string good. So good string gets added to morning and good morning will be displayed. You can give a space here. Okay. So if you want to display let A equal to 10, and if you want to display the number is 10, how will you do it? You can write the number is and give a space and put plus and give A. Here A will be substituted by the number 10. See, that is because if A equal to 5 and let B equal to 5, then A plus B will return 10, right? If A and 5 are both strings, even if it's a number, if we give a quote, it will become string. So if A and B are both strings, it will return the first string and then the second string, 55. What if one is a string and other one is a number? Let's see. Still, if one is a number and another one is a string, then the number gets converted to string format and it will be treated as a string, and string gets concatenated, string gets added and displayed. We can give comments in JavaScript by using single line comments by using 2/. So we can write this is a program to find the sum of two numbers. Always write comments because when you revisit the code later, you must understand why this part of code is used for, etc. So this is how you give single line comments, and press enter. Now this is not a comment. So for giving multi-line comments, We have to use slash and a asterisk symbol and close it like this. Okay, so this is how you will give multi-line comments in JavaScript. If you comment this console.log, this part of code, okay, you comment it. Now, this statement won't get executed, that is, sum won't be printed. Let's see. See, now it's not printed because that statement is kept as a comment. It's time to understand one of the most important concepts in a language, data types. Most of the apps we build, we do it to store, process, and create something meaningful out of the data. So, to operate on data, it's important to know about the type. In JS, there are primitive data types and reference data types. Primitive data types include string, number, boolean, undefined, and null. So first, string. String represents a sequence of characters. For example, let name equal to Charles. Using type of operator, we can check a variable's type. Log it into the console. Log it into the console. It's a string. Next, number. Number represents numeric values. It can be an integer or a decimal value. Let num equal to 10.3 console.log type of number. The value of Boolean data types can either be true or false. Let bool equal to true. Console.log type of Boolean. Let's change it to false here. Next are undefined data types. We have already discussed it. That is, when a variable is declared but it is not assigned any value, its data type becomes undefined. Let us declare a variable str console.log type of str undefined. We can also explicitly make a variable undefined. Let's try on num. Initially num was of type number. Let's try it to make undefined. Let's make it undefined. This is the way. Num equal to undefined. Console.log type of num. See, it changed to undefined. Next is null. Null means the variable does not have any value or is empty. It has nothing to do with the data type undefined. Example, let number equal to null. Console.log type of number. We know the data type is null here, so type of must return null, but here it returns object. But unfortunately, it returns object here. You can consider it as a bug in JavaScript. So we know string is anything that is given inside quotes. Double quotes can be used and single quotes can also be used. Okay. See, both double quotes and single quotes can be used. So anything written inside these quotes will be treated as a string. Even if you write number inside it, let me write 5 inside it and check the type of the str. See, it says strings. Even it is a number, we have written it inside the double quote, right? Inside the quote. So it's treated as a string. If we write, this is a boolean. True and false are boolean. And false is also boolean. See, but we write false inside of quotes, it will become string. True also. In JavaScript, you can also keyword results like this. Document.write. You are writing in console, right? Logging in console, but you can also print the results in the document itself in this way. See, document.write 10 printed the result in the document itself. You have learned about let keyword. Let keyword was used to create variables or declare variables. There is also another keyword for that same purpose, which is where. Where can also be used to create variables where x equal to 10 document.write x 30. Okay. See, where can also be used. I'll show you the difference between them. If you're trying to print or access the value of x before initializing it or giving any value, if you're trying to access it before giving any value, it returns undefined. But in the case of let y, let y equal to 10, it returns an error. See, y cannot be accessed before initialization. It returns an error in the case of let keyword. Next, reference data types, which include arrays, objects, and functions. First of all, let's see what an array is. We know variables are used to store values. Let color equal to red. But here we can only store one value, that is red. Suppose we want to store multiple values under a single variable name. This is where array comes in. Arrays are special variables used to store multiple values in a single variable. Let's see how we do it. Let colors be the name of the array, and this is how we will define an array. We store values inside a square bracket separated by commas. So we are storing 3 values here. Let's try to print the array. Console.log colors. It shows array 3. 3 represents number of elements. Let's expand it. So now we can see the array. You can see its length also. So what if we want to display only one element or access only one element of the array? That is, suppose we want to print only red here. So this is how we will do it. Color 0. We can access an element of the array by referring to an index number. Index number starts from 0. So index of red is 0, of blue is 1, of green is 2. So colors 0 prints red. Colors 1 prints blue, and colors 2 prints green here. Suppose we want to change the first element of the array from red to orange. This is how we will do it. Colors 0 equal to orange. Let's try printing it. Orange. So let's learn what functions are. Function contains some code, some J statements which need to be executed only when needed. That is, function is created for a specific task. So only when that function is called, the statements inside that function should get executed. So let's create a function and give a name to it. Here I am giving the name hello and a parenthesis, then curly bracket. So inside this curly bracket we have to write the codes of a function. So my function is a simple function which prints hello world. Hello world. Okay. So let me open this in console to see the output. Open with live server. Right click, inspect, console. I can't see any output. That is because the function is not called. If we simply write a function and keep it need not get executed. We have to call it. So let's call it. Call it by its name. Hello and parenthesis. See now the function got executed. The statement inside the function got executed and we can see the output here in the console. If we want this output to be printed in our document, we can print it like this, or HTML document. See, it is printed not in the console, it's printed in the document. You can add more statements here in the function. See, two statements got executed. We know that if we are giving a value to a variable, say a equal to 25, and we are trying to access that value, if we are trying to print a, what happens is the value of a, that is 25, gets printed. Okay, when we are trying to put the value of a in b, what happens is the value of a, that is 25, gets assigned to b. So here, see, my function is returning 10. So what happens is when I am trying to print this function called hello, 10 gets printed. So here, if my function is having a return statement, the value it returns gets assigned to hello. So that is the function call. Okay, so the function call gets the value that is returned by the function if it has some return value. If it does not have, see, it does not return anything. It's a simple function which says hello world. It does not return anything. So when it does not return anything, if we are trying to print this value, it says undefined. Okay, because it does not return any value, so this does not have any value. In JavaScript we can also, so here we left the parenthesis empty, right? In JavaScript, suppose if we want to calculate the sum of two numbers, I am creating a function called sum. You can name it anything, and what this function does is it let result equal to, it takes the sum of two numbers. So what are this a and b? I am creating a and b here. Let a equal to 10 and let b equal to 20 and result equal to a plus b, and my function is printing the result. Okay, so here I have to call that function, right? I'm calling that function. Okay, so when I'm calling the function, all the statements inside the function will get executed. A becomes 10, b becomes 20, and result becomes a plus b, that is 30, and result 30 is printed. But without giving a and b here, I can also use another way. I can write a comma b here, and I can give any number here, 3 comma 5. And then what happens is this a gets the value 3 and b gets the value 5. So result a plus b becomes 3 plus 5 8, and result 8 gets printed. See, these are called arguments. So we can also give arguments in a function call. Earlier we left the parenthesis empty right here and here, but here I have given arguments. I can give anything. If I give 5 comma 3, then a gets the value 5 and b gets the value 3. See. So without printing the result, let me return the result here. Return result. Okay. So to print the result, I can write console.log the function call. So the function call will get the value returned here, that's the result. It will get the result, it will contain the value result. So when printing it, we get the result 8 itself. Let me create two functions. Here I have created two functions. One function prints the sum and another function prints hello world. So here I haven't called any of them, so nothing gets executed. So suppose I'm calling hello first and sum second. Then comes I'm calling hello first and sum second. So hello gets executed first and sum gets executed second. You can see the result here. Hello is executed first and sum is executed second. If I am calling just the inverse, that happens. So it happens in the order of the function call. Next, objects. So what are objects? In real life, a car is an object. What are its properties? Name of the car, color, weight, etc. are its properties. The object car can also have methods like start, stop, drive, brake, etc. Methods means actions that can be performed on objects. All cars have same properties, but their values differ from car to car. All cars will have same methods but performed at different times. We already know what variables are. They are containers for storing data. Objects are also like variables but can contain many values. This is how you will create an object or define an object. Print it. See, the object definition gets printed here. What if we want to print or access a property of the object? Suppose name of the object, we use object name dot property name. Let's try car dot color. Here I have created an object called student with properties first name, last name and roll number. We can also add methods to our object. Methods means the actions that can be performed on it or the functions it can do. So let me create a method called name and function corresponding to it. Name must return the full name of the student. So return student dot first name plus add a space student dot last name. property here, console.log student dot first name James, student dot last name dot roll number. Let me print the method name here. See, the result gets printed. What if I do not use the parenthesis? When I do not use parenthesis in method name, what happens is the function definition gets printed. You might have seen alert boxes that give message to the user. In JavaScript, we use alert method to display an alert box. Let's see. Alert. Hello. See, it displays an alert box. Let's try to give some condition like let a equal to 30, let b equal to 10, if a greater than b, it displays an alert box with message hello if a is greater than b. So that's all about the basics of JavaScript. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching.